Let me tell you why you're here. You're here because you know something. What you know you can't explain, but you feel it. You felt it your entire life.
I sort of went, oh, and I didn't understand. I was like, yeah, that sounds really good.
Hats?
Oh, don't do that. Start again.
No, hats.
Hi, Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
And our last one was when?
Just before Christmas, was it? I don't know, 23rd or something.
Yeah,
right?
I've lost count of what episode it is, so I might just stop saying what episode it is.
20, maybe 1.
What the hell is this? Something on my computer, keychain. Anyway, how was your holidays?
Yeah, it's been good. Happy, whatever it is to people, wherever they are. So happy, whatever is this? What is this, Sunday? Happy
Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's been good. I've had a few days off and had a couple of drinks and
we
ready
did
to go.
spend New Year's Eve together. That was fun. I think I'm still sweating it out.
Yeah, you should be.
Yeah,
because you were a disgrace.
I was not. Was I actually? Did I?
Oh, you were.
I'm the lovable drunk. No.
I would say you were second worst. So that's second worst is always an okay place to be.
Who was first worst?
My wife.
Yeah.
She basically fell and going into a spa, and she also
was she trying to go in or going out?
I haven't got a clue, to be honest. I wasn't paying attention, and then she fell asleep on a chair, just like passed out when most all the children were fine.
Oh, she did. She was like splayed. Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
I think we got home about 1:00 and went through the garage. So we've got a little key thing in the car to open the garage, and there's so much crap in there, and I stacked it.
In the garage, did you?
Just trying to walk in and saw it happening. In the dark, I was just stepping over shit and just went arse over tip.
Great. Yeah, it was good night though.
It was great. So, and I remember I tweeted something about how many people will we orange pill. Was it less than one, more than one, or will we sit in a corner and bitch? And to be honest, we didn't actually talk much about Bitcoin at all.
Not at all.
And somebody else brought it up.
Which was really exciting.
Yeah. They said, hey, you guys are 2-bit idiots. We're like, oh, yes.
You're a Bitcoin Brendo. No, they didn't do that. That didn't happen. They never heard of us. But what did happen? What actually did happen?
I don't remember. I'm not the one to ask.
So I had a really good conversation. Well, first of all, we contained it for... Oh, yeah. We contained it for maybe a couple of hours. And then someone else brought it up. So that was good.
Okay.
Yeah, so... first of all, there was a little bit of shitcoin being mentioned. And I was like, oh, here we go. But it really wasn't that at all. And then it ended up with him telling me that he is... buying, it doesn't matter how much, not a significant amount, but every single week for his children.
How long for? Did you say how long he's been doing it?
Didn't say, and I didn't ask, I don't think, but yeah, and he's buying a bit every week for his kids as like a savings fund. But then what he said to me was really interesting. Is I don't really know why. Just my gut told me I should. Yeah. Right. That was me, right? I was in there. Yeah. So, and then we then had a great chat for about another hour, just about stuff. And I would say, so not that I wouldn't claim that as an orange pill victory, but I would claim it as a moving somebody away from crap, steering towards the right thing. So and then he can go do his own thing, whatever that is.
Maybe mention what you then did with the music that was playing.
Oh, so yeah. So
and I'm smashed at this point.
Yeah, you were like smashed. So we had. A lot of there was families and kids and everything there, so the music was playing in the background on the sort of outdoorsy speaker, but because he said I had this gut feeling, the sort of Morpheus clip from the beginning of the pod, let me tell you why you're here because you know something, but you can't, whatever it is, and I was like, that's exactly that's feeling right. So I then changed this music to the intro thing, and everybody else noticed because I just ruined the party, right? But apart from you, you were just basically blind drunk. And then you got near the end and it just dawned on you. It was like, I don't know how long that is. That's like a minute. Like a minute of watching you, just this slow realization of what was happening. Like, oh my God, how is that possible that this is in this space? Like, it's funny. Anyway, we better put the music back on.
Yeah.
Danish krona.
Danish krona.
Yeah.
All right.
311,560 krona. There you go. Did not know. 12%, 2.12% up on the day. Go Denmark.
It's been an interesting few weeks, really. Ever since Murray, we've had a big dip and just been leveled out for a while.
So do you feel like that is testing your resolve at all?
Nope.
Really? Not at all? That's incredible. I mean, it's...
What do you mean? Like, what? Like, is in I'm going to go, fuck, it's not going to go up anymore?
No, just like... Right, it's really easy to be confident in your opinion when the price is backing your opinion.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But when it isn't, all of a sudden, particularly, I mean, you're not new anymore, but particularly for newer people who haven't had to go through it before, it's difficult to have your resolve tested. And particularly when it's like, because quite often what you'll get is a sharp rise, right? So that's really exciting and everybody gets the FOMO.
Yeah.
But then what you get is the slow drip of, the death by 1,000 cuts down 0.1% on the day, 0.1% on the day. But that's really that tests your resolve, because it has, one happens for a short period, the other one happens for longer. And yeah, so I just find it interesting that you're not having your resolve tested. That's really cool. But do you? Okay, I'll ask you another question. Then, have you noticed sentiment on? Obviously, it's a lot of these things happen on Twitter, right? So have you noticed the sentiment change on Twitter? Even people who you considered to be really rock solid bulls, all of a sudden they're starting questioning, or not saying negative, but like, oh, I think we've probably seen the end of this cycle, or these kind of things.
No, to be honest, I haven't, because I've actually been off Twitter for a little while. I mean, not off, but not really. Just taking a bit of time to do family shit, really. So but I've certainly noticed that over the last however long I've been doing. I'm almost 2 years. I'm coming up to 2 year Bitcoin.
Do you have a date? Do you know the date? No?
February 8th.
Well, that is, good.
So
what have you seen? You saw a big crash, a gradual price rise, a big spike, and then a slow drip.
It feels like at least 2 or 3 big spikes. We went.
Yeah, I mean the problem. Yeah, you lose track.
I mean, when it got over 50 AUD, I'm just like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then it gets up to like 90 something in November, wasn't it?
Yeah, it would have been barely November.
Oh no, and that was about when you said 100,000 by Thursday.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. I mean, predictions are bullshit. Like, what did I tweeted something, like Apple. Oh yeah,
today.
Was it? Yeah.
Oh, it was yesterday.
Somebody needs to create an Apple logo, a Bitcoin logo with an apple bite out of it, because they can't ignore this for the next 12 months.
And somebody did. Or was that somebody found it?
So I should give them a shout out. I will find them out. But and somebody else responded to say, do you have any source for this? Of course I don't have a source for this, right? I mean, I don't mean that in a cheeky way. I don't have a source for this. It's just my opinion, and it's worthless.
Yes, but 100,000 by Thursday.
100,000 by Thursday. So my opinion is worthless. Don't listen to me.
But I read a thing a while back.
Form your own opinion, not mine, right?
Or maybe only a couple of weeks back, where I don't know exactly what the chart was or what exactly the semantics of it were, but it was basically saying that retail is kind of stalled, buyers, but all the big industries and corporations seem to be buying up. You know what I mean? Like, so, which is kind of sad, because it means that,
of course it is, yeah.
Yeah, they're realizing they're getting in, and all these no coiners that are still, seeing the FUD and all the Bitcoin is dead stuff are just staying clear.
Yeah, because the fear kicks in, right? The FOMO and the fear.
So, FOMO and the fear. That's a good song.
Is that a song?
No, it's Midnight Oil, isn't it?
Really?
The Power and the Passion.
Oh,
the FOMO and I sing in every day.
Well. So for the little guy, the fear, like, if you're a professional investor, it's your job to stomach the bad times, right? And then you could argue are professional investors any good. Many of them aren't. But that is at least your job, is you sort of understand. You've been trained into understanding that there are difficult times too, and you can deal with it. And it's often not your own money, so like you don't care so much.
Yeah.
Right. But for the little guy, the fear is real, and that's why. I mean, who is it? Is it Haas McCook who has the it's probably a mixture of Haas McCook and Corey at Swan have this, the DCA army sort of mentality.
Yeah, he's Haas is the daily DCA guy.
Yeah. Well, I'm the daily.
I am doing it. Well, a lot of people are because of Haas,
but probably
and
others.
Certainly,
but certainly it had some influence on because what happens is it's so not exciting to buy $5 of Bitcoin, right? Because you're like, oh my god, even if it goes up by $1,000, it's still not going to change my life completely, right? By 1,000x. But if you do it, you're taking away, you're smoothing out the peaks and the troughs. You're just getting the average, and then the average always goes up.
And it's something, and it's something that you don't then have to monitor the price and try to time the buyers and all that kind of stuff. And that's why I'd be and I've said before, I'd be a terrible trader.
Most people are terrible traders.
Yeah,
like 99%.
But just the anxiety of actually doing that, I think it'd be woeful.
See, I like the fun of it. I do enjoy. Like, not that I don't trade anymore. But I do try and time buys. Like I do this DCA, but I also will time. Like what I'll do is a little amount daily, and then when I've got a little bit more, I'll just do a smart, and I'll try and be clever. And I always think I'm clever, and I never am.
That's it.
So the daily DCA is the way to go. Dollar cost average or krona cost average or whatever it is that you're doing it in currency wise. I did want to briefly, and I'm meaning to say this for like 3 weeks or maybe even longer, right? Maybe it was on a pod. Gigi, you know Gigi? Dare Gigi.
See, he's the one that wears a green suit?
Yes.
Yeah.
So read everything Gigi writes, it's worth it. But he had an explanation of blockchain. And it was so nice analogy, right? So that's why I liked it. But the game, I don't even know what the game's called. I'm going to the beach and I'm taking with me my sunnies. And then you have to go, I'm going to the beach and I'm taking with me my sunnies and my shorts. And then I have
it's a memory game, basically.
Round and round, right?
Memory game.
It's a memory game, but basically you've failed if you don't remember anything.
Yep.
Right? You miss something in order or something like that.
Yep.
And the game gets progressively more difficult because somebody adds something else to the end.
Yep.
That's the blockchain.
Yeah. Okay. But you don't have to remember the blockchain.
No, but you can't change it or the game's broken.
Yeah. Okay.
I thought it was such a good analogy. It's like you can understand why, based on that analogy, it gets progressively more difficult because there's more data comes before it that you cannot change.
Yep.
But the energy required to add on is greater, which increases, which is going, what goes first, the price of the hash rate? Who knows? But I got my opinions, but I'm probably wrong.
Sorry, can you explain that? What do you mean?
Oh, there's a big debate as to what follows what, whether price follows hash rate or whether hash rate follows the price.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay.
And I mean, there is no right answer. So
yeah.
But if you look at the graph of the hash rate over time and the graph of the price over time, obviously both are trending upwards.
Yep.
And by looking at it, you can see periods at where it looks like one is a leading indicator of the other.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just I just wanted to mention that because obviously he's got his huge following himself, but I just think it's a really good point for people who are like, I don't get blockchain. What does it mean? It's just a big chain of blocks.
Yeah.
And it's like the glasses and the hat and the shorts, and this is the bucket and the spade and everything. It gets harder and harder to remember, and you cannot change what came before, or you broke the chain and it's no longer valid. So therefore, I just liked it. I probably butchered it, but it was good. So what's the plans for the new year? What are we doing?
Well, at the moment we've got a few kind of guests lined up that we're trying to time, and it was a nightmare leading up to Christmas. But we've just got to work that out. So I think our first one, I don't know if we can say it or not, but hopefully going to see Owen at his farm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had
which I'm excited for. That'd be cool.
It is cool. So when we went to...
Oh, we got to get some meat. We got to make sure we...
Definitely. Take an esky and fill it.
Yeah.
When we went to Marundi, it was quite interesting because the Bitcoin Bush Bash, because much of it wasn't anything to do with Bitcoin.
That first day.
Yeah, right. I mean, yeah, there was plenty of Bitcoin chat, but
Yeah,
there was
yeah.
a lot of talks that were really just about, sustainable growing and sustainable farming, and
Yeah.
what else did we have that were not?
It's all preparatory
just-
for
yeah, like resilience.
our citadels and our
Right,
self-sovereignty.
But like resilience, just basically about building your. Did I say basically a lot? I think I do.
Oh, yeah.
No, well now, just about building your resilience for yourself, your family, and everything, and that's back to the conversation I had on New Year's. This $15 a week. That is about resilience building. Oh, I didn't say that. Okay, or whatever the number is.
So the guy you were talking to, going back to that, was he accumulating any of the other shit coins, or did he just
don't
had
think so.
some and he's still just buying Bitcoin regularly? That speaks volumes.
Yeah, I don't think so. And he was doing things that maybe I consider to be not quite the right thing to do, but we all have to improve the way we're doing it.
Did you talk about like self-custody? Is he getting from an exchange? Is it all sitting on there, or what, did you go into that?
Yeah, he's getting from an exchange.
Is it still on the exchange?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's almost too. That conversation is for the next step, and
Yeah.
I look forward to the next conversation and I think there'll be one. Like that was the main thing. But I hope there'll be one. But yeah, no, we went down the route of, well, what I did with you, like
What is
what's
money?
the problem?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
And I started, so I was just like, let's explain the central banking problem.
Yep.
So I tweeted this morning about, and it wasn't my data, but the U.S. Federal Reserve have printed $7 trillion in 2021. $7 trillion, which equated to, somebody put it's like $200,000 a second or something. It's a phenomenal amount.
The other one, and I don't know the numbers, but it's like a really high percentage of all the US money ever printed has been done in the last 2 years or 3 years or 12 months even.
Did you see the one about Canada?
No.
So Justin, and I'm not I'm not a fan of Justin Trudeau, but I'm certainly not like anti-Justin Trudeau, or I don't really care about politics in that sense. But the debt in Canada under Justin Trudeau is greater than the debt of all other Canadian prime ministers
Combined.
Oh,
wow.
And then somebody else made the comment that yes, but in 10 years' time, Trudeau will be on the left-hand side, and there'll be some other schmuck that's done it, 10 times bigger.
Well, if fiat's still here.
Well, yes. I mean, 10 years is probably maybe a stretch, but no, it's really good to just I know when you can, like, some people got they got an itch they want to scratch, but they're not sure why. I mean, this person I was talking to is in the creative arts, right? So not a money guy, not necessarily a natural Bitcoin person interested in Bitcoin, and why should he be? That's not, he shouldn't have.
Well, he's got his own struggles at the moment with the
I mean, absolutely. Look at what's happening to
creative
that
arts
industry.
and
So
COVID, yeah.
but it's awesome to see somebody that's just putting a little bit of sight, and then you just got to laugh when you see something like this. A lovely fella, and see something like that, and then you see the criticisms of it's only for Bitcoin is only for fraudsters and pedophiles and whatever. It's like, what are you talking about?
Terrorism.
Like, as a young family man who's in the creative arts, like
Yeah.
like what are you talking about? So Bitcoin is for everyone.
Yeah.
It's for everyone, and it doesn't matter whether you like them or not.
Going back to you were saying, with the drip, like has it tested, my resolve or how it tests people's resolve. I find it's a switch. So at some point, a Bitcoiner is buying Bitcoin because they want fiat gains, and then at some point that switches to going, no. Like, I realise now that I don't want fiat, I want Bitcoin. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
You're 100% correct, but
You say but a lot.
I just disagree with you a lot. No, but yeah, okay. But basically, I think all of us, me included, are overplaying that a little bit, in the sense that we all say that and it is right, but most of us aren't spending Bitcoin yet on
No.
stuff. So we all care about the fiat still. We're saying we don't, but we still do because we still have to survive, right?
I'm checking the price every day, and I still stand by the fact that I will sell some when it gets to a point that I can be debt free.
Yeah, and
then I can concentrate.
Well, that's
on
your
just
prerogative,
Bitcoin.
and that's your choice to make. I mean, and even at the start of this, we're doing a price stamp in krona, right? So that's a fiat mindset. But my argument against people saying, oh, you should be looking at the block height, which did, and rightly so. Well, he's correct, but also I want this to be for the reason I do it is because I want this to be inclusive for people. We need to go further than just Australia or America, wherever the content we're seeing is. We need to bring in other people from other walks of life in other countries.
Did you just dox?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I did.
Timestamp.
Apologies.
Yes. Wasn't me.
So was that about 20 minutes in or something?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I did. Damn.
Yes.
Damn. Oh, Happy New Year. Sorry, Wes. We'll take that out.
I might leave it in just to really.
Just a nightmare for me. So I also saw something really cool from Stefan. So we've not been on this for a couple of weeks. So hodling fiat is like being on a treadmill. You have to keep running just to stay in the same position. Using Bitcoin is like being on an airport moving walkway. It assists you to get where you're going.
Oh, he talked about this on a pod with I don't remember who, but yeah, he did that same analogy. It's good.
It is.
Yeah.
Because it is. It's like, and when he said being on a treadmill and you have to keep running. So the walking, running is like trying to get a salary, pay increase or a new job.
Yep.
That keeps up with inflation. You don't instinctively know you're doing that, but you know you need to earn more just to have more or the same, right? Or the same is actually the point. Whereas, the Bitcoin side of things, you're just being assisted. You're always just being assisted by everything that somebody else. That's like what Patrick from
Perth
Heat
yep.
said to us, like, and Stephen, who's the CEO over there, had said it on another pod. That's maybe Stefan's too. Like, it's like everything anybody does is helping you. Yeah. It doesn't matter who. Like this, if anybody's listening, if one person listens to this,
yep.
and goes and thinks, oh, that's a good idea. I'll go buy $50 of Bitcoin a week. That helps all of us. Yeah. And it's not like we're pumping our own. Well, we are pumping our own bags, but there's nothing you and I could say that's going to change the price of Bitcoin, right? So,
but we're not pumping to then dump.
No. But also, there is no more there's no more supply, so it's not like there's somebody who's in early who can, pump the bags, and then supply more and go out that way either. So, so everything any one of us is doing, whether that is doing your fiat job and stacking a few sats, or whether it's trying to start a Bitcoin company, or whether it's talking to your mate in the pub, all of those things helps all of us, or helping Hasmacook, providing the floor with the DCEA army, providing the floor price of Bitcoin for a family in El Salvador. Yeah. That is true. Yeah. And you could say you're maybe overstretching the, the charitable intent. Yeah. Maybe there's no charitable intent whatsoever. But that's the reality. Maybe you hate people in El Salvador. Yeah. Right? I don't, but like maybe somebody does somewhere, right? But even still, by being involved in Bitcoin, you're helping. Yeah. Crazy, right? Whereas that's not true anywhere else, or in anything else.
What about Turkey? How's everything going in Turkey? Have you been following that?
Yeah, I mean, Turkey is, unbelievable. So there are two guys in Turkey. If you've seen it, we keep mentioning, and also 1971 Bubble, is that what his name is? So I just want people to follow those guys because, and I'll find it, because what is happening in Turkey is what's coming to all of us, and you can. I mean, it's not nice, the fact that you can, you see something bad happening to 1971 Bubble is on Twitter. What's happening in Turkey is coming to everyone, and we have the opportunity to watch that and act. Whereas people in Turkey right now are not getting the opportunity. Well, they're
So do you know the history of that? Like how is Turkey now in the position that it's in?
I wouldn't stretch to be any sort of an expert, but Turkey has always, in my memory anyway, had currency crises. But their mentality, they're ahead of us in the sense that they understand that they have to They understand that the currency is shit, and they have to do something else, so they go to the gold or the US dollar. Whereas we don't. I would say, how many of your mates understand that the Australian dollar is shit and are buying gold as a result?
Yeah.
Like, how many? Zero?
I know one guy whose dad is like that.
Okay.
And you know what? He's a Bitcoiner. He just doesn't know it yet.
Well, they all are. I
Yeah.
mean, the argument of the gold bug is 100% right. The argument is 100% right. It's just that the asset that they're choosing is 100% wrong,
Yes.
which is pretty tough. I mean,
Yes.
it's pretty tough. And they've been right for 40 years.
Yeah, just superseded.
Or 50 years. We're 2021 now. Oh, 2022. 51 years. They've been right.
Yeah.
Or 51 and a half years. But yeah, there's just something better. There's a harder asset in the room now. And everything's going to flow to the harder asset. Like you look at Schiff's fund, not the one I shout out the man, but you know, gold is down 4% in the year, and his gold fund is 20% down in the year.
Is it?
Yeah, hilarious, right?
Suck
Great.
eggs.
Yeah, how do you like that? How do you like them apples, Peter? So he's just, but his arguments as to why fiat is bad are 100% on the money.
Yeah.
It's just he's not joined the dots, or he doesn't. Maybe, do you think it's a?
He's too
well,
too proud maybe now? I don't know.
Who was it I read that said this? Maybe he's just the world's greatest dad.
Why?
Well, because what he's... So his son had zero profile,
Yeah.
like the rest of us,
Yeah.
and now he has a big profile. And the reason he has a big profile is because he's gone against his dad.
Yeah.
So maybe this is a stretch, maybe his dad has gone, I'm retiring soon, game's over for me, son's taking over, we need to get him a profile, let's construct a... Is that too much?
Yeah, and okay, so Peter Schiff retires, and what, Spencer takes over the business?
Well, he's the
Dumps all the gold?
Well, maybe, wait, who knows if he has any gold?
Spencer would have some, and I think...
No, I mean, just like, I don't know, like, who's auditing there? It's
Yeah,
paper.
well, that's a
It's
good
paper. They don't have any gold.
Yeah, true.
They don't have it. Do you think Peter Schiff has a vault around the back of the Schiff mansion? Or maybe he does.
I remember early on when you sent me, is it Mike Maloney, the gold guy?
Yep.
Yeah, and one of his...
History of money thing.
Yeah, and one of those videos was talking about how you can... Basically, multiple people can own the same ounce of gold, so it's like fractional reserved gold. It's just like...
It's the same.
But how does... Like, when that first happened, how does somebody go... What the fuck? You know, that's my gold. But because no one's asked for it.
Because nobody's asked.
That's criminal. It's fraud.
Of course it is, but it's legalized. What do you think? What do you think banks do?
Yeah.
When you go to the bank, right? Brendo, family goes to the bank and says, "We're buying our first home," right? And you've managed to save up, God knows, well, hopefully a few years, but God knows how much money to put down as a deposit, and your home costs, I don't know, $500,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
The bank doesn't go into the vault and go 1,
2,
2, 3, because they go through the... We all think of this like, like, I don't know, what do you call the guy? Escobar. It's sitting in a big vault with all the notes or something.
Yeah,
or what do you call Lloyd, what's his name? Floyd Mayweather, the boxer that always sits with piles of cash.
Yeah.
Like, people think that is the situation. If you went into your local bank, mate, they struggle to put... If you try and go into your local bank and take out $75 notes, you probably clean them out. They probably don't have that. $75 notes. What is that? $350? Bank run. Bye. Like, they don't have anything. There's nothing there. So when you go in you do the mortgage thing, they don't go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What they do is go, okay, I'm a bank. I've got a banking license. I'm going to create $500,000 worth of debt. Where's my computer? Boop, boop, boop. Okay, there's more debt now, but
that sounds like an old computer.
Yeah. I love that noise.
The modem.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what happens, and that's like seen as an asset. The bank as an asset. It's not an asset. There's nothing.
Yeah.
If that house becomes worth nothing, well, $200,000. Well, you're on the hook, right? And to keep paying you, but until you lose it, until you're not unable to meet the payments, right? So you're fucked. But sort of at that point, the point when you become fucked is when the banks become. This becomes their problem now.
Yeah.
So that's what 2008 was. So all of those products. So let's say Brendo family's a AAA rated mortgage. You're good for it.
Yep.
you didn't overextend yourself. You got a good job. Finally, whatever. You got money, so you're good. You got a AAA rated mortgage, but then me, I'm a B minus or something because I'm not good for it. But so they packaged all of those mortgage products. Took 1,000 of them, put them together. Moody's or S&P rated them as AAA rated baskets.
Yep.
And started selling them into the market. So you've got just like a debt bomb.
Stacking
It's
bets.
a bomb. Just waiting to... I can't shout that twice on the pod. Like, it's a bomb, it's a bomb, it's a bomb. It's not a real bomb. It's a debt bomb. And it's just waiting to explode.
Yeah.
And then... But everything is so interconnected that you think you can have... Maybe you don't feel like you have any exposure to that. But everybody's got some exposure to it.
Oh, yeah.
And, you might have an insurance... you might have car insurance with somebody, right? But they'd taken out... they'd bought some of these packaged mortgages to, whatever.
Yeah.
We've all got some exposure.
Yeah.
So that's why the more you can take your own wealth into your own possession, then the only exposure you have is to you. And if you screw up, then you screw up and you have to deal with that. But it's nobody else that can do it for you. Like in 2000 and... sorry, I'm rabbiting.
No, rabbit. I've got nothing to say.
In 2005, 6 or something, so I still lived in Scotland. And... over at that time, you could get really high interest from Icelandic banks, right? Really high interest. So I did that, right? I just took
got a loan.
pounds and I just took my own money.
Oh, okay. Like in a term.
Yeah, like a term
Okay.
deposit type
Yep.
bank or whatever it was. And I can't remember what the interest rates were. Now, I was maybe going to give myself more credit than I deserve. I was going to say I took out one with the bank was called Kaup thing, I think. Anyway, doesn't matter. There was plenty of them. But some of the banks were protected by the UK, whatever it's called, Financial Services Authority, or whatever, the one that gives you the protection on some level of money. So you, like if it all goes wrong, they give you it back.
Like government-backed
yes.
thing. Yeah, yeah.
So I had mine was that. Now I like to think I had looked carefully enough and I'd chosen, but maybe I hadn't, and I just got lucky. So I got my money back, but plenty of other people didn't.
Really?
Yeah. And Iceland at least did the right thing. They just put their bankers in prison.
Oh, is that right?
That's what happened. The only place that happened was in Iceland.
Oh, wow. Good for them.
Yeah, but that's where as you say, it's criminal. It's criminal. Just taking
Legalised fraud.
It's legalised fraud. And, like, who was I talking to recently in terms of, because we sort of think of like, somebody says to you, I got an email from a guy in Nigeria. What's your first thought, right?
How much did I win?
Yeah. Genuinely, you're like, oh, this is probably a bit shonky or something, right? That's your first thought.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And it's not anti somebody from Nigeria. That's just because there's some scams and there's a lot of them. That's sort of the thing, right?
Yeah.
So, where the hell was I talking about that? Oh yeah, but if you got the thing from John Smith in Burke Street, Sydney. It comes with, it could be exactly the same thing, but it comes with a different image or a different perception of how much of a scam that could be, right?
Yeah, I am. But so what? Why? What's the what is it that makes you think that? Is it because it's Nigeria and there's been such a history of scammy emails and all that kind of stuff from that place? Well, is it potentially racially framed in a way? You know what I mean?
Yes, for some people.
Not intentionally, but
no, but some people like it's. Yeah, I mean, yeah, for some people, I'm sure that's true, but also it's more likely that somebody from a poorer country is going to try and scam you, not because they're a worse person, just because they're struggling, right?
That's exactly.
They're struggling, not because they're worse.
Yeah.
So desperate people will do desperate things.
Yes.
So if you're less desperate, you're less inclined to. But now, so the people who are actually the worst people are the people who are not desperate but still choose to be scammy.
Yeah.
They're scumbags. Real estate agents. I see you.
Yeah.
You know it. They know it. If you're a real estate agent, you're listening. You know it. You know what you're doing to people, right? What value are you adding?
Do you know? I don't know if this happens anywhere else, but in Australia, the trend with real estate has really been to move away from elders real estate for sale, and you've got someone's bloody mug on their car, and You know what I mean? Like they're kind
their
of
face.
Well, they're personalising.
Oh
the
yeah,
thing.
hi, I'm Dave. I've been here 17 years.
I can't stand that.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Like if you didn't think they were sort of slimy enough, now they're putting these kind of whitened teeth on.
Whitened teeth. I was literally thinking of whitened teeth. Yeah,
makes you shudder. I don't know, but obviously there's because everyone's doing it now. I don't know if there was some kind of research to say that people feel like it's a more personal experience if you can put a face or a name to the property. But it just, to me, it just reeks of.
Well, look at what is happening in society, right? Can you convince the masses to do something stupid?
Are we talking about masks now?
We're talking about anything you want to, but can you convince the masses to do something stupid? I think the answer is quite clearly yes.
Yes, through fear.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you can convince the masses to do something stupid, then the profit motive would say you're going to do what's going to convince them, right? And obviously, like, you still get junk mail in your letterbox. Why? Because some people are buying it, and obviously enough people to justify the cost of putting it there. And you could argue that we've gone so digital now that junk mail actually might be getting to the point where it's more effective. It's like, I'm a bit nostalgic for I'll read it's better than the paper, right?
Yeah. Sitting there with a pipe and your junk mail.
Yeah.
Over breakfast.
Back in the day, I loved it when I got my junk mail. Yeah, but I mean, we're so inundated with adverts everywhere. So back to the Nigerian thing, like, it's not the Nigerian person, it's the circumstance that's the problem, right? And so my argument is just that I would call that like, I don't know, blue collar crime, because it's not sophisticated particularly, whereas what we have is white collar crime.
But it's not. It's legal.
Well, but I still consider it crime.
Yeah.
Like if JP Morgan, manipulate the gold market and make 10 trillion or 10 billion, let's say, and then nobody is ever convicted of a crime. They do pay a fine, but the fine is always less than what their advantage they got, and also they don't pay that fine for, like, they drag it through the courts for 8 or 10 years. So eventually, when they pay the fine, it's like 20% of the original gain.
Yes.
Plus inflation ripped into the fine in the meantime.
Yeah.
Right. So why? So if I came round your house and I stole your telly, I know you like your telly, so think of something nice.
I'd fucking kill you.
No, but right, I know, but if what would that, if I got away with it? If you said to me,
and I knew it was you. I don't know where you're going with this.
Right. Okay. So if I came round to your house, I stole your telly, you found out it was me. It was totally, the police were not interested. It was totally just between you and me, and you said to me, give me $10. We'll call it even. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna come back and take another telly. Right?
That's a good point.
So if your theft is greater than the pain that you have to suffer for thieving, you're going to keep stealing.
Because there's no disincentive.
No.
Yeah.
It's incentives, everything. You got to punish. What do you call it? Like, consequences have to be real. Like, if I don't know, if I punch somebody in the face, I have to get punched in the face back. Consequences, or actually twice probably, right? Because I deserve it.
Yeah.
Has that got anything to do with Bitcoin?
I
guess.
Well, yeah.
I guess
everything does.
Yeah, well, everything does. And it's just, Bitcoin is just the honesty in the room.
It's the most honest thing I've ever come across.
And you've met me.
Yeah.
But all of it. No, but if.
Hang on. I'm going to say this. So, before, because it's midday or sort of mid morning that we started. So I messaged Hats to say, "Is it hot downstairs in the garage?" And he said, "Only when I'm in it," or something.
I said it's hotter when I go in. It's actually not too bad, but I thought it was going to be. I haven't even had a shower. I was just late last night, and I've not even had a shower. I feel like absolute crap, and it's daylight. I look like crap. But and
now he's lifting his arm up, stretching.
Sorry,
yeah, thanks, mate. Yeah, air those puppies out.
What?
I said you aired those puppies out.
yeah. I don't know. I don't have much else.
No, well, that's all right. We're still recovering, I think, from
yeah. Happy New Year,
eating
everybody.
and drinking. Yeah, Happy New Year. Happy 2022 when Apple will buy already.
See, the thing is, if it doesn't happen, I'll laugh it off, and if it does happen,
you'll claim it.
I'll claim I'm a legend.
Of course you will.
But that's dangerous, right? And nothing to do with me. But this is a point. Traders, right? That's what they do. When they lose, excuse me, when they lose, you don't hear about it. Gamblers, same thing. When they lose, you don't really hear about it. When they win, they shout it from the rooftops. Now I'm joking about whatever. I don't know, maybe I'm not.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm joking, but that's very dangerous, because if you see somebody, or actually even worse, if it's you yourself, if you create a system, or inverted commas, and the system is successful, you're going to double down on the system, right? Until such time as you lose your house. So heroes and prophets and all that's very, very, very dangerous. Constantly question your own thought process. You see some of these young guys that are like technical analysis, and they're talented. They're talented, but they may beat them. Well, they will beat the market because they're smarter than the market, or the rest of us in that sense. But will one day it all come unstuck because they back their system too much? I would argue probably.
Yeah.
I don't particularly want to, because I don't see what they're doing. There's no ill intent. I don't believe in what they're doing. You probably know who I'm talking about. And I thought, I'm interested in their opinions on Twitter too, but I just think they'll come unstuck. I mean, look at what's happening to Plan B right now with the stock to flow. I mean, and
what's happening?
Well, so the stock to flow model has been pretty accurate for a long time, and it's interesting. It's really interesting, and it's not.
It's not broken.
No, it hasn't broken, but it's close to breaking.
Yeah.
But Plan B himself said it's a model.
Yeah.
It will break.
Yeah.
Right. Use it to help form your judgments, but don't treat it as a god.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, obviously, it's quite difficult, as there's, I don't know when, God knows how many millions of people now follow him, because some of those people will start treating it as like, well, Plan B said this is going to happen, and it hasn't happened, so therefore he's responsible for my mistakes. No, he's not.
Yeah.
You're responsible for your mistakes. Take ownership for your mistakes.
But the difference with someone like Plan B is that he's putting these models out, and there's no one, that's just his doing, you know what I mean? Whereas you go, increasingly these days, we've got YouTubers and influencers and all these people saying, oh, buy this, buy that, to pump, or they're getting paid to, you know what I mean? And there's the dishonesty in that side.
Oh, completely. Like people who are...
And people are just getting absolutely shammed.
But then go back to the other thing, like, if it's in your...
Shammed?
Yeah, I heard it.
Scammed. Shammed? Yeah, no, a sham. A sham.
It's a sham. And
you're a sham.
You're being
it's a sham.
Scammed. You're not being shammed.
Is
that not like when you're washing your car? It's like a chamois? A shimmy? No, what?
Shammed. A shimmy?
Oh, that's a dance, isn't it?
That's like a bikini car wash.
Oh. That's a good thought.
Yeah.
Well, it depends. Scan.
I don't know. I've derailed us with shammed. I'm gonna, as soon as this is over, I'm looking up sham. Actually, no, I'm looking up now.
That's gonna be good audio. Yeah. So, where am I going? People need to be wary of charlatans, and also like okay, so that's where it's going. So if you're one of these young guys who don't have much, well, they probably do now, but like if you don't start with a lot, and all of a sudden you create this profile, and I don't know, Gemini knock at the door and say, oh, come and endorse shit and I or whatever Gemini are selling today. It's quite difficult for them to refuse it. What people need to learn is, like, it takes a long time to build a reputation, and and it can be broken over a breedlove tweet.
Yes. I was going to say that.
I know you were thinking it.
Yeah.
We were all thinking it, and we're all still thinking it. And it pains me because he doubled down. He doubled down on his mistake, and then he made another one. And his writing is incredible.
Yeah.
Right? And his series are incredible. Like the the What Is Money with Michael Saylor is probably the most essential viewing for anyone.
Would you say that, and that would be good for no coiners, pre-coiners as well? Is it? It's not too difficult or abstract.
I think anybody with a decent level of intelligence and a willingness to come with an open mind can probably manage it.
Yep.
You decide yourself if you've got a decent level of intelligence and an open mind, right? You know,
not me.
Like, I don't. I send different things to different people. Like my uncle, who is a retired banker, and I would argue from maybe because he's my uncle, but I would argue like he's a decent man who's tried to be. Is he decent
because he's
he's a long time retired, but he's also he's furious now. He's writing to newspapers daily to say how disillusioned he is with the whole system and all. That
is this the one that's buying Bitcoin now?
No, because he's just. I mean, it's so. I mean, it's just very difficult because he's
too busy writing letters.
No, but I mean, it's just his whole career would have been based on this thing that we are now dismantling. Now, what we're dismantling is not necessarily what it was 40 years ago or 50 years ago. It's got worse. Right, so that's what we're going after, but it's hard to tell somebody that, and it's hard when it's somebody if your uncle who's in his really about nearly 80, I would think, I've got a good relationship and have done for a long time, and I don't want to just blow that relationship over the fact of I think I'm right about something. So it's very, very, very difficult for that. What I sent to him indirectly, actually, through my dad. Because I was, he's probably afraid to click on a link on an email, maybe rightly so. Was Saylor and Ross Stevens, because that is very much in his wheelhouse. Like it's not so much of a stretch to watch that, and I know he has watched it, and he wanted to go home. He watched it at my parents' house, and he wanted to go home and watch it again. So I'm like, yes. So, but you have to find things like most people you would not send that to. Yeah. Like, I don't know, your mate from the pub, that's not your first stop. You'd send them to, like, I don't know, the Swan Lounge because it's fun. Right? Or something.
Yeah. But you can't throw an existing pod at someone unless you go right back to the start. Well, do you know what I mean? Like, because there's so much sort of vernacular and terms and this and that people throw out.
And we do it too.
Well, we do, yeah.
But what do we do? Like, I struggle with this because like the first one we did was like, I don't know, hey Brendo, what's your backstory or whatever we did, right? Because you have to do that. Yeah. And then we did with one of Catan, which was like glossary, and then we did like a Catan's some of the early ones were like the early the one about central banking and the the island and all that. But you can't constantly retell that same thing. No. So it's hard because it's the people who are listening to this now, anyone who's still awake, if they're like, well, what are these? Who is this Breedlove man you're talking about? Right?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, you sort of have to learn and then get to that point. So I would recommend anybody there goes and listens to number 1 or number 2 again
of What Is Money or ours
or anybody's.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
Go listen to early Matt and Marty. Go listen to early Stefan. Go listen to early Daniel. Go listen to early John Vallis. Go listen to early. There's so many. But you can't constantly talk about if you and I just came on and constantly said the same thing just because somebody new might be arriving on this one, everybody else would turn it off, right?
That's true. Here's something new. Buy Bitcoin.
Yeah, that's the best advice. And learn how to hang on to it. Cool. And don't overstretch yourself. Like, to begin with, don't overstretch yourself. Buy a little bit. Feel comfortable.
Exactly, and that's what I say to again my mate at the pub. Like he asked me something. He goes, "Oh, how much would I need to get started?" And I said, $5.
$5.
Just start. Hasn't done it.
I know, but see, once you do it, once you automate the DCA, you don't really do anything.
No, you forget about it.
And all of a sudden, you look back and 3.5 months, and you've done $5 a week, and
not everybody needs to be
$70 worth of Bitcoin. It's gone up to 82.
Not everybody needs to be like an obsessed maxi. You know what I mean? Like,
can you imagine we were all like this? The world would explode. You can't imagine any subject. Can you imagine we all agreed on we all wanted to be swimmers, Imagine what the pool would be like.
Yellow.
Yeah, disgusting.
Especially since you haven't had a shower.
You're true. But or anything like anything that
Yeah.
if we all wanted to be the same, and that is where like statism pushes you, all being the same. We should all have the same healthcare. We should all have the same schooling. We should all have the same amount of money. We should all have because that's carnage and awful.
And communism.
And communism,
Yeah.
right? So, like, it's getting hard. Well, is it getting harder? Is it getting harder to fight back? I mean, at least there is something now.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine how having some of that knowledge? Well, there are people, you can see them, people who have that knowledge about communism, scared shitless of it, and have no awareness of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Oh my God, how stressed those people must be right now. Buy $5 of Bitcoin, start to see your life getting better.
Yeah.
Like, just draw a line in the sand, start building elsewhere.
Yep.
Yeah, that's all I've got, man. That's
All
all
right.
I've got. Happy New Year, everybody. Hope you all have a great 2022.
It will be a great 2022.
It's going to be.
Can't get any worse.
Yeah. I said that when George Bush came in.
Did you?
Oh my God, look at this guy. He can't even read a book the right way up. And now look at us.
Yeah, that's right.
I
All
look
right.
back at those days fondly. Hey, George. Cheers, guys.
Bye.
Hey guys, if you've made it this far, thanks so much for listening. The plan with the pod is to do sort of guests one week and myself and Brendo the other week, so hopefully that's working for you. If you don't like one of them, just listen to the one you do like. If you want a little bit more information from us, you can find it at bitcoin-first.com/learn.